in the adult gymnastics environment. AAU and NAIGC have done a wonderful job giving opportunities, but they're doing basically the same thing. And the thing that no one's doing is offering adults to compete at whatever level they are on each event. You're meeting these athletes where they truly are at and allowing them to flourish and grow and enjoy the sport at their level.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the NJA podcast where we talk all things gymnastics. I'm your host, Rebecca Grady, and I'm here with my incredible co-host,
Dr. Ian Kreider.
So today we have a very special guest joining us, Erin Buhr. She's the owner and head coach of Rising Star Gymnastics in Bloomington, Indiana. She's been a longtime coach in NGA and someone who's been absolutely instrumental in building and launching the brand new NGA Adult Gymnastics competitive program. She has been right there at the heart of putting it together, so she's the perfect person to help us break this down and look at what adult gymnastics can look like for NGA and what we can expect. So, Erin, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about it.
So before we jump in, will you just kind of tell us what you've been doing for NGA with the program, but also what you do in your own program and kind of how you stuck with gymnastics?
I grew up as a gymnast, much like most coaches these days. My husband, Michael, and I opened Rising Star Gymnastics in the 1900s.
Stop that. Good grief.
1999. And then we had our daughter, Bianca, and our daughter, Bianca, is now 25, and she's a big part of the gym as well and taking on many of the programs too. So we all do it together. It's truly a family business like a lot of gyms are, and we all three do really love it and love working together. We started NGA 1 year after it started. That was kind of that weird COVID year, so we didn't jump in that very first year, but we've been a part ever since, and I just really value and appreciate all of the opportunities that NGA creates like this one. So I like that they've decided to create this opportunity, much like they've created other opportunities along the way for more competition, more athletes to get more opportunities. So I've been appreciating everything that NGA has done to do that. In our own program, we've had a recreational adult program since the beginning, and a lot of our own coaches are part of the Indiana University gymnastics club team, and they don't have a Division 1 or 2 or 3 or NCAA team at all. So they do NAIGC club gymnastics, and all of us kind of came up through that club, and that kind of gave us like a more purpose for continuing on and not just coaching. And we really loved that. So Michael and I both did that in college, and
Wow, nice.
loved it so much. And I loved that some meets were just silly and we could do like switch events or do like tag team routines, things like that. We just had a good time.
Yeah.
And so we modeled our adult gymnastics program after that, that good time and that good feeling that we were having to continue doing gymnastics, even though we weren't kids anymore. So that's basically the way we've started our program. We've continued it that way. But what we found in the last few years is adults now really want to participate in gymnastics the same way they want to participate in marathons or CrossFit or anything like that. Like not necessarily at the top level, but just for their own health, fitness, fun, sanity, So that's what we do now. We did these sort of non-sanctioned meets. Again, just for fun, but I really loved the way our adult team was balancing taking it seriously with also this is a good time. And I just found that balance to be so awesome and thought that it should be shared and created a little bit bigger. And I knew NGA could take that on.
So yeah, that sounds really, really awesome. What you talked about a little bit, but what do you anticipate kind of seeing the competitive program evolve into with NGA?
Well, what I love that we're able to do, and I wasn't sure this was even going to be possible, so I presented the idea, and the ideas that we presented were based on about 10 months of market research and talking to other adult gymnastics, other coaches, other gym owners across the country. And everyone had really positive things to say and what they wanted. But one thing that's not offered right now in the adult gymnastics environment, AAU and NAIGC have done a wonderful job giving opportunities, but they're doing basically the same thing. And the thing that no one's doing is offering adults to compete at whatever level they are on each event.
Oh,
So
okay.
instead of saying I'm a platinum all-arounder, I could say I'm a platinum on floor, I'm a gold on vault, I'm a platinum on bars, I'm a silver on beam.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
love
that
that.
way you're meeting these athletes where they truly are at and allowing them to flourish and grow and enjoy the sport at their level all around. And
Yeah.
that's something that's not offered. And I actually think, and this is pipe dream maybe, but I actually think that that's the way gymnastics is headed and should be headed as a sport, not just for adults. But
Okay.
that's probably another podcast episode in itself. But
Right. Right.
but I see that even in my youth athletes, that's one reason why years ago we did move toward the Excel route
Yeah.
in some ways, not for the recreational aspect of it. My gym kept it as a competitive aspect, but I liked that there was a little room within each level. So if I had someone who really had a strong talent and faster progressions on floor, but maybe had a harder time on bars or something, I could push ahead a little further. And I liked that. And I think that with NCAA constantly pulling event specialists, not very many all arounders, and then same thing for like the Olympics and world championships and like the grander scale, that's the way it's headed. So I don't see why the actual building blocks of the program wouldn't also be headed that way. I'm happy that we can head that way immediately for the adults, but like I said, another episode for where I
Yeah.
think our sport could be headed down the road.
Well, that's so my gymnasts will, at least there's a couple of my gymnasts, they were actually talking about this very thing, how maybe just 2 weeks ago. Like, man, I just really wish I could do like level 9 at this because I'm really good at
Yeah.
floor, but I wish I could do level 8 or level 3 and this, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Well,
I
yeah.
wish I could do these things. And so I'll have to share this podcast episode with them because they would
Good.
get all giddy about it for sure.
Well, I'm on board with them. I agree with them. And I think that for all the hard work they do and everything they put in, you can't really always expect every level and every athlete to be linear,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, that's the way our sport is built.
Right.
And that's where we lose so many athletes over the years, especially approaching level 7, level 8, somewhere in there, because there's bound to be an event that has not caught up with their best event,
Yeah.
and then they're either marked as an individual event specialist, which is okay too, but not necessarily what they want. I have an individual event specialist, and she's level 10 on everything else, but not bars.
Right.
But she would love to do bars. She likes bars. So I see athletes like that where there's so much more opportunity that we could be providing them. And I know that's again a huger discussion for another day with a lot more people, but for the adults, that is where we're going to start. So
Yeah.
they will be able to enter meets per event. They need to enter a minimum of 2 events and a
Okay.
maximum of 6.
Okay.
And it would
Okay.
be co-ed. So it's not like exactly the men's events, women's events exactly. It's more like vault, uneven bars, high bar, parallel bars, like it's the event.
Okay.
So
I was
yeah.
gonna ask about that because before getting you on here, I started to talk about this with Brian Neal a little bit, and he was kind of explaining how the adult gymnastics program went, and I really didn't have a lot of experience with that or knowing about it. And he was talking about how you could have mixed events between the male and female apparatuses, and I was like, that's actually really cool.
Yeah. And having it co-ed, I think just kind of makes it for just a regular straight playing field. Like it's not like we have to do men's this, women's that. It's just bars,
Right.
like,
Right.
and that keeps it at that balance of taking it seriously and having fun. Like it's a good balance of that. And so that's one of the reasons why we did that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Yeah, I doubt that you're gonna get any adult women doing iron crosses on rings and stuff like that. But also in the adult leagues, how many men are doing that either, right? And there might be a few,
I
but
have 2 on my team.
yeah, that's awesome. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, no, and
So
that's the
yeah,
thing. That's a good point. So things like that are, wide variances. Well,
yeah,
that's why we have levels.
yeah,
And so
exactly.
that's exactly an example. That right there, the Iron Cross, is an example of why we would want to have someone be able to enter a higher level on rings. I
Yeah.
do have 2 guys that can do it,
Yep.
but they don't have, pommel horse or high
Right.
bar. They
Right.
just have the strength of that. So they would need to be a lower level on the events they're just now learning and a higher level on something they've learned already. So I really love that we're able to provide that opportunity. And I was so excited when the NGA accepted that idea.
Yeah.
And that is what will set it apart from AAU and NAIGC. Again, super happy with the programs they provide also. It's not to take away from, it's just to add more opportunity, which again, I think is what NGA is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know. So I've had some friends that have been involved in AIGC. Like one of my friends, way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and Jesus was just a
Mhm.
baby and all that.
I was there.
He helped start the club team at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and so I got to hear about all the AIGC stuff. And I don't know if he's finally stopped competing yet or not, but I think so he always kind of throughout the years he's just kind of modified, let's say, his
Right.
gymnastics to where it's like, when I was fresh out of JOs, he would, do some crazy stuff still. But as I think last year he just did trampoline and tumbling, right? He
Yeah.
did, he
Yeah.
was like, and I think it was mostly trampoline, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like,
That's fair.
Gotta watch
it's like,
those joints.
yeah, it's like, I
Yeah.
don't want to tumble on the real floor. I can do stuff on trampoline though, and I can come up with a 10 skill routine and all
Yeah.
that for that. So wise then, how do you see kind of things getting set up at meets for our adult gymnasts and that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, for nationals, everything is set because there's men's and women's in one meet. I think the time will tell, and we need time for the program to grow in order to provide full men's and women's meets, like the full co-ed experience.
Right.
Most meets are not offering both sets of equipment.
Yeah.
So what we would do, especially in this startup year and probably over the next few years until it develops more, is do our virtual meets. So the virtual meets through Got Scored are still sanctioned. They're still qualifiers. They're still awarded. They're still placed. They're still medaled, all of that. But then teams from all over the country could compete with each other at the same time. You film your routines over the week. I did have somebody ask me about that, like, respectfully challenge me on that and said, well, how do you know people aren't just going to like keep filming until they do their best routine? And I said, I don't know that. And I just think that, for the love of the sport and for what we're trying to do, that we would have integrity about videoing. And if
Yeah.
not, so be it.
Yeah.
That part doesn't exactly make the hugest difference in it. If you're doing that, I don't think you're gonna that tactic is not gonna pay off in person at nationals.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that is how we would develop the competition, is by
Yeah.
doing virtual meets through Got Scored first.
Yeah.
A couple of us have meets, are going to put our sanctions in for meets. Brian said that he could add the adult division to his meet. The Sweetheart Classic in Indiana is going to be able to add it to theirs. So there's a whole bunch of us that are going to be adding the division virtually. So that's how I see the equipment going for, in terms of how we're going to get through it for the regular season.
Yeah.
And then for championship season, you would be able to do your state, regionals, nationals per the men's and women's meets.
Yeah.
I know some states and regions do it slightly differently. So if it was like, if the men's and women's weren't together at a meet, that would be different. But I know a lot of states do it together. Ours does. And also those meets would not be required for nationals.
Right.
So you could still qualify in a virtual meet.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, you mentioned on equipment when you were talking about your friend that mostly does trampoline now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also because it is better for your body, and as
Yeah.
we get older, it hurts more.
For
So
sure.
one thing I noticed when as coaching my adult team is when we would go to vault, for example, they had like 4 vaults in them, and then we're done, we're toast.
Right.
Because then it's like, ow, my knees, my hip, my shin, foot, my toe,
Yep.
everything would hurt. And so then we got a new trampoline board, and doing the trampoline board, they can vault all night, and
Yeah.
they're not in pain. And so we changed a few things. We're going to use the Excel levels, and we are going to closely match silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then there's a pro division as well. And all the way through diamond, you can use the trampoline board.
Okay.
So unlike the youth program or the developmental program or whatever it's called, I know that's different. Like I think even at gold, it's a 9.5 star value if you use the tramp board.
Right.
So, but that rule will be eliminated, and that way adults can enjoy their training more, get more out of it. The differences are not vast in how they perform the vault, but it's a huge difference in how they feel about how they perform the vault.
Mhm.
Yes, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. So you mentioned the pro division. What does that entail? Because that just sounds super, super
Yeah.
exciting. So what is
Yeah.
that all about?
Yeah, the pro division's exciting. Again, it's one of those things that I think will take a little time to take off, but the pro division is basically designed for athletes who are retired from maybe their NCAA careers or their JO careers or development programs, whatever they do, and they're still at the top of their game, which I'm seeing a lot more of that than ever. I never saw it before, and I don't know if it's just because social media is more prevalent now that I'm seeing it, or if it's just more of them. Either way, there's so many retired athletes that really don't want to retire. They don't
Yeah.
want to be done. I even have athletes who have gone on to school, graduated college, now they're in their normal lives and careers, and they're still coming in, and they're still able to do, your Chanko fulls and double pikes on floor and all that. So they will have that opportunity to not just have to put themselves into the Excel levels, but have that professional division that eventually could be close to the NCAA requirements and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that highest level that's greater than the traditional diamond of Excel.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's
Whereas
awesome.
diamond is closer to like what, like level 8-ish?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
7,
Right. So
8,
this
I
would be
think. Yeah.
more like a level 10 NCAA type level.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
goal these days is, so I was a gymnast all the way through college,
Mhm.
but my goal these days is just as long as I can still beat my girls and stick it, then I feel pretty good about it. Because none of them are doing anything like I've got one girl that's really starting to work doubles and that sort of thing. I'm like, all right, well, as soon as you get your double back where you can stick it on trampoline, like I'm in trouble because I'm not getting back my double back. That's
Sure. Yeah.
I have no
Come on,
desire to
man,
do
you
that.
can do it.
But I can still kick their tails in some stuff. But I did a just for fun. I was on air track last night, and I did a double front into the pit off the air track,
Yep.
and woke up this morning with something called BPPV, which is an inner ear issue where you get some stuff floating around and it makes you dizzy.
Right.
So
Yep. Yep.
there's certainly, but the issues come. Because I'm a PT, so the issues come from stopping and starting gymnastics. Whereas in that like pro division, if you just keep going, you're probably going to be
Yep.
just fine, right?
Yeah,
But
like
if
other sports. All other sports
yes,
do that.
exactly,
Gymnastics is one of the only sports that really has like a harsh ending.
Yeah.
right,
And other sports don't do this. And
yep,
so I think it's nice that NGA is going to be offering a way to just continue on. It doesn't mean you're going to necessarily hold your highest level you've ever been, but it could mean that. And
right,
that's what's nice. The opportunity is there.
yeah,
You can be the best you ever were, you can be beneath that, you can go above that. And so the other program that I run is through USA Powerlifting. And
okay,
in USA Powerlifting we have all ages, all
yeah,
levels.
masters divisions and
Yes,
everything,
yes.
yep,
Masters, like, not just, and when I'm gonna say masters, not just 40-year-olds,
yeah,
50-year-olds, but 60, 70. On my own team, I have in the 60s.
yeah,
And so I have my youth team, and I have, masters and everything in between. And one thing I feel like is nice to, that NGA is being able to sort of take from, our experience is that it really can be a door that's open for everybody and anybody that wants to try it. The same way you could go running today and be like, "Oh, I ran a mile. Let me do a 5K next weekend."
yeah.
And then that 5K, you're like, "Okay, let me do a half marathon or not." But I mean, but I'm just saying with all other sports, there's that opportunity. I mean, there's adult soccer leagues
Church
and
softball leagues
yep,
and yep, absolutely,
yeah. And on that church softball league, there's probably somebody who played at the collegiate level who's really, really good, and somebody who swing and a miss every time, but
right,
they're
right,
both having a good time. And the community of that is what's keeping them coming. And I think that the community of NGA is one of its finest points. And so I think
yeah,
it's just natural to bring this program in. And one of the main differences too that I see is with AAU and NAIGC, who it's targeted to is a little bit different. So it's nice
mm,
that we'll have this, market to target to as well. With NAIGC being predominantly college,
right,
like
yeah. Mostly it's club
college
teams,
clubs,
yeah,
mostly club teams, exactly. They do have like the community division or whatever, but it's still mostly college, which,
right,
those college teams could do this also,
right,
but it's something that opens the door for more of the community to be able to participate in.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, and I love it because looking at it from like a mental perspective, a lot of gymnasts, if you listen to them talk about it, they feel like they struggle for so many years after they're done with, Olympic athletes talk
Yeah.
about it, even college athletes, because gymnastics has taken so much of their lives that when you cut it off like that, a lot of them feel like they lose their identity
Yeah.
and being able to slowly transition out of it, kind of change how they view gymnastics and also keeping it competitive. Cause I just feel like all of us naturally are very competitive at heart. And for me, I don't like doing something unless I can compete it. Like, I love that you said a
right,
half marathon because I literally am running a half marathon in New York in April because I'm like, I want to run again. I love
Right.
yeah,
it. but I
Right.
know that I'm not gonna commit unless I have some kind of competition up front.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
Right.
love that just for athletes, like, of all levels too, because not just the greats are feeling this way, like, everybody who's committed 20-hour weeks their entire life, of
Yeah.
training.
Yeah, that definitely happened with me, and, like, so my I get, like, step down drug was CrossFit. So,
Yep.
I went from highly competitive NCAA gymnastics to then I was like, "Alright, I need to do something," so got to do CrossFit for a little while, then I had to choose between, like, sleep and school and CrossFit
Yeah. Right.
and
Important sort
eventually
of thing.
school and sleep won. But I did that for a while, but it was a good outlet to put my competitive energy towards,
Right.
until I could have other things in my life that help me do that, and so now it's my business and then my family and my, other things I do get me to allow me to perform at a high level, right? And
Right.
not just athletically though. So
Right.
I totally get that. When if you just go cold turkey, it was a weird thing when I stopped gymnastics after college because not only do you go from 18 to 20 hours a week of training for this sport and it's enveloped the last 16 years of my life
Right.
to I quit and within 6 months I lost like 15 pounds, not from like depression, just I wasn't
Right.
using my muscle
Yeah.
mass. And so, my body just shed off muscle. And so now, man, I don't even look the same anymore. And I'm not doing the same things. It's like, holy moly, I got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of people go through that.
yeah,
Mhm.
And some people kind of take that and go just right into coaching, but that's not for everybody.
yeah, yeah,
That just because you love gymnastics and did gymnastics doesn't mean you turn around and you're just a coach, like you just naturally jump into coaching.
yeah,
Some people do, and that's wonderful. Clearly I did, and I'm happy I did. But on my just my own team as an example, I have military people, I have scientists, I have
yeah,
a lawyer. A couple of them do also coach. I have a person that works for the university. They're all different, and they've just missed that love of the sport, and also found that when they just did our recreational class, they were still wanting more. So
yeah,
here I thought I was providing for them, like, oh well, here I have adult gymnastics, come on in.
yeah,
And we
yeah,
do half of it structured and half of it in kind of like an open gym style, and even that was not enough for a group of them. and
right.
then and then that sort of became, well, let's make routines. Okay, I'll judge your routines, like.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then and that kind
In-house,
of just
inner
kept.
squads. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And as that built, I just kept recognizing the need to go further, and was really hopeful that NGA would be just as excited as I was for it, and they were. So it's great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was so excited when I heard about this. Okay, so when we look at the competitions, because I know we're launching soon, how many competitions can gymnasts who are wanting to maybe enter this expect for this first season?
We're hoping there to be 3 or 4 virtual options, and then a regionals and nationals. Regionals, again, not being required, and some states, depending on the state. I believe Indiana would be one of them that can do it. That's where I'm located. But nationals would be the big event. And that would be, to me, where we're hoping to get, a good number of adult athletes come and do it for the first time, and then give us plenty of feedback and grow from there.
And so if gyms are wanting to start this program in their gyms, what do they need to do to get started with this?
Check their insurance, number 1. Literally, sometimes it does cost more to add on an adult program. We found that it was well worth it, but it did cost more. Of course, that depends on everyone's individual insurance, but that would be my number 1 advice is check with your insurance carrier first. Second, I think you can just open like an open gym style adult program. Let them do drop-ins at first. We used to do that when we first started, was like a drop-in base. And
yeah,
when people do a drop-in, they usually bring someone with them. So
yeah.
it's like
'Cause I'm
my
not going
friend
here
and
alone. So,
right.
Yeah.
yeah,
My are gonna go play on the trampoline, and then from the trampoline, they wander over and goof off on the bars a little and see what they can do double fronts into the pit all willy-nilly, like,
that's right. Yeah,
but yeah, so open gym style drop-ins are the best way for a gym to start an adult program if they don't already have one. And then I also think, and again, I'm not telling everybody to like tap into their own staffs, but your staff probably would, some of them would probably participate and would be happy to, at the after practice, to like put together a routine or copy another routine they already know or did, or someone else's or whatever, because it
yeah,
doesn't have to be that um serious. That's the part that can be fun, like that balance. So I think that's two good ways to do it is one, start an open gym drop in. Two, maybe your recently graduated staff would maybe want to do a couple routines just to dip your toe into it and see if you like it and then develop your program further.
No, that's great. And then so if they want to, let's say they already have an established program and they were like, "Oh, I want to be part of NGA and what they're doing." Is it they just sign up for a membership? Like what is the steps to take through and with NGA?
Yeah, on the membership side of things, NGA's staff is handling that, but basically they would join NGA as a club, and then as you already know, I'm sure with NGA, all your coaches are included,
Mhm.
so they would have to have a coach. That is one question that was asked to me by other adult gymnasts that participate in AAU and NAIGC. I think with them, you maybe don't have to, but you do have to have a registered coach,
Okay.
Does the
and
coach
then
have to like travel to nationals?
I think you do have to have a
Yeah,
coach present at
on the
nationals.
floor. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would need to double check the rule and what we wrote, but I'm yes, is what I believe the answer is to that. But would have to have registered coach, and then they would get their memberships the same way the youth athletes do. And then they were gonna do some work on the back end on figuring out how to actually do the register per event because I know that's not the typical registration. So
Right.
that's being done as we speak. But that would be the other difference. Club owners and coaches would look at and be like, "How do I do this?" But once that's done, it would literally just be like you're choosing to compete on vault, bars, and rings or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to 6 events.
No, that's great. And when is the first competition, the first virtual one expected?
The end of December, we're gonna have one right away. And then Brian's meet was gonna be adding one. I'm not positive when his is. I wanna say February. I have to look that up.
Yeah,
Brian. And then the Sweetheart Invitational or Sweetheart Classic in February, and then another one in March, April before we hit state regional nationals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. I love that it's starting so soon.
Yeah, I figured we might as well get it
Yeah,
going.
just jump right
If you're
in.
gonna do it,
Yeah,
just do it.
there are enough of us that are willing to just do it, whether we get a whole bunch of people join us immediately or not. We're
Right.
happy to do it,
Yeah.
and I think that from all the people I've talked to over the last year, it's been about 10 months actually. Everyone's been saying, "Well, win."
Yeah.
So most people are ready to hear the launch and to hear that it's starting and then to go that route. Meanwhile, some of them are still holding on to their AAU and NAIGC schedules because you can do it all.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. Like you're doing the New York Marathon, there's no reason why you can't also run one in Miami.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all or nothing or just one or the other. I mean, even some clubs do USAG and NGA. I'm
Mhm.
just NGA, but that's another episode too.
That's right. Goodness.
Nope. We're gonna do some rapid fire before
Okay.
we leave. But
Okay.
Ian, do you have anything else that you were thinking about that you wanted to ask?
No, we need to have you back on for sure to do another podcast about just like how to train adult athletes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I would love to.
And like some safety things that you need to think
Yeah.
about.
Yes.
And there's some
Yeah, great.
good science-y stuff that I can talk about. Because there's different safety precautions you need to take for an adult gymnast versus a youth athlete.
Absolutely. Can I touch on that actually?
Sure. And yeah,
Sure.
we can kind of introduce the topic a little bit. Then we definitely need to
Okay.
have you back on for the full
Yeah,
thing.
we definitely need to
Okay.
schedule that.
Because I have an example of that I want to touch on from some of the judges' feedback that I got.
Yeah.
I want to sort of give a little explanation there too. So I would love if I could.
Cool. Yeah, please do.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to take in consideration was not changing the rules so vastly that it would really throw off the judges and upset that side of the sport because the
Right.
judges are so important to our sport and we're grateful that we have them or we couldn't have these opportunities for the athletes to compete. But one of the little bits of pushback, again, respectful, good conversation pushback, was in terms of, for example, leap degree of
Oh, yeah.
split.
Right.
Yeah.
So with kids, the degree is like 90 degrees to 120 to 150 or whatever. We said earlier, they're training so many hours a week and they're growing and they're kids. So to expect that much change in degree of leap, a split degree from one level to the other is normal in a
Right.
youth division, but in the adult division, it's really not. And I would argue that for the safety of the adults, that we don't challenge that by too much as those levels increase.
Right.
At the higher levels, sure, but at those silver, gold, even platinum, I think it needs to be a little bit on the lower range and less growth from one level to the other on things like that because they don't have
Yeah.
the time or bodies. We don't want them injured. So
Yeah.
to me, that was a safety decision in lowering the leap requirement on some of the levels.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it's one thing, that's it. If you're
Yep.
creating a whole new level system for adults, that and judges already have so much to
Yep.
memorize
Right.
and know and all that. And I know even sometimes they're going, all right, hang on, where's the book? One more.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that skill done in 10 years. What's that thing worth? You
Right.
know,
Right.
which
Yeah.
I
I
think
judge
probably
too, and I
happens a
know
lot
it
in
feels
an
that
adult
way.
league where
I'm
you're going to
sure.
get some skills where you just go, oh
was
man, you found that random body wave B. And what is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever it is, you're going
I
to see some
I
weird ones.
will I have no body waves as a hard rule in adult.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just no, I'm joking, joking. No, but I judge too, and I know it is sometimes very stressful to go from one level to another
Yes.
and figure it all out. High school judging, USAG, NGA, all of it. And so I did make sure that everything is pretty close. But for safety reasons and for the enjoyment reasons of the athletes, we did make a few modifications in spaces like that, where it was
Yeah.
like a matter of degrees on split degree on leaps and jumps and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And then of
Nice.
course there's 1,000 other safety things we can
So
talk about
so
another
many.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, no, we're
let's
definitely
definitely
doing an
jump in on that at
episode.
some point.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking of asking Ian, like, what are the typical injuries you would see right away when someone's
Big,
taking time off
usually
and
big ones.
jumping right back? Yes. So we were
Yeah, if you're
just
not careful, it's the big
Yeah.
ones, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you take an approach, I'm sorry you wanted to go another episode on this, but
You're good.
I love it. This is what
But
we do all the time.
if
It's
we
fine.
take an approach that is in line with where they're at,
Yeah.
like truly meeting them where they're at, and you do that individually, and then do some things that as a group you're enforcing. For example, we start every single practice with a very like basics a handstand series that we do.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like a needle and stand, an L handstand and stand, and then close and stand, and then try to hold and stand, and we do that over and over. And I found that by doing those things over and over, their bodies start to get a little bit more ready for what we're going to do, similar to what we would do with the kids, but different because we don't have the same amount of time and they
Right.
don't have the same amount of hours in the
Yeah.
gym and
And you're not
strength and all
spotting
that.
them the same
No,
and
no,
Yeah.
no, I'm not.
yeah. You're not going to
Yeah.
manhandle somebody through a flyaway who's bigger than you
Right.
typically.
Right. Right. It's true. That's fair. And so we are going to be focusing a lot more on a drill to get a skill or,
Yeah.
things like that. There are a number of things that we do differently in
Yeah.
coaching the adult team.
Yeah, and I think I tend to put my own thought process on other people, right? And I go, man, if I started back, I know I would just want to go, all right, I'm getting it all back.
Right.
I can
Right.
do the and take the
Just
same
because I'm too
impact
stinking
everything.
competitive, right? And I'll just be
And then
like,
your coach has to
yeah.
rein you back a little
Yes.
bit and tell you
Exactly.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. I do have athletes like that
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
which is why the group work is important.
Yeah, for sure.
So while we still do a plenty of individual things and at their own levels,
Yeah.
by doing the group work, we really help the
Kind of
Ians.
rain. Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
we help remind the Ians of the adult gymnastics space that we have to make sure that we're getting ready for all of these things. And then fortunately we just run out of time and you don't have time to do a double front to a mat.
That's right. That's right.
She's like, oh, next time.
Crisis averted.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, I would be a real problem. That's
I feel like you would be too. All right, everyone, that is the intro
right.
for the next episode we're going to do.
Great.
If you're interested, join in. But before we get done, we're going to do some rapid fire questions for Erin and just short, quick answers. And if you have any of these, jump right in. But
All right, cool.
I have 3 of them for you. Okay, so number 1, what's one thing you wish every adult gymnast knew, especially the ones who think they've been out of gymnastics too long to come back?
That what they think matters does not matter. You don't need to set your back tuck, just flip.
That's true. We're so focused on the details. And
Yes, the
Yeah.
details that mattered when they were younger, they don't matter now. Just let's go. Let's get to what we need to do and don't think so hard.
honestly,
See,
that
also a
alone
reason
makes
why I
me
would probably
wanna
be a
do it.
problem.
Yep.
So-
I
like,
have
yeah,
plenty of Ians on my team.
yeah. It's like I can, like, with a wide enough pit, I would feel about like a full in would be just fine. I think.
Oh my gosh, Ian.
It's an issue.
Okay, so
So I think what we need to do is we need to film an episode of me going up to the gym and participating
go.
in her class and
Please.
just
At
how much
Erin's
trouble I
gym.
can get into.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I
Yes,
mean. Yeah.
please.
okay, I'll come. I have like the stabilizer. I'll
That's right.
video.
Yes.
You do. She'll coach.
Oh
I
my
would
gosh.
love that. I would love that. My team would love that too.
I
Let's
would
go.
just
When we
oh,
do
I'd be
Peak
so
Camp
sore.
in Indianapolis.
There
Right.
you go.
There we
You have
go.
a standing invitation to
Yeah.
join my adult team for the night.
Oh my
I love it.
goodness.
Okay, so this might be the same answer because this is question 2 is what is the biggest misconception adults have about starting gymnastics again?
Oh, well, the biggest misconception I think is that you need to have done it before. So not necessarily
Yeah.
starting again. I just had this conversation with one of my athletes last night. She's never done gymnastics and she's in her 30s, and she came to our open gym and just enjoyed it and then joined the team. And so I think the misconception is that if you didn't do gymnastics before, there's no way to really learn it now. Not true. And I think that's
Right.
true of every sport. Maybe we're not going to be diamond immediately or pro, but
Right.
silver is attainable for everybody.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3. If an adult gymnast is on the fence about joining the NGA program, what's your quick message to them about it?
The leotards are so pretty.
Ooh, I'd be on board.
Gosh. What are we getting for the guys then? Are we getting like
Well,
cool
they're
shorts
pretty.
or
They
something?
can
What are
be
we?
pretty too. Yeah, well, we do require like the actual like uniform, but you
Yeah,
can wear
yeah.
shorts and leggings like just like the youth can now as well. But yeah, I think that if they were on the fence, I think just like with anything, it's more fun with a friend.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
if you're on the fence, grab a friend and tell them they're doing it, and then get over the fence and go. I think doing it with a friend would help, whether they've done gymnastics or not either. That would be the kicker to go, okay, I can do this because I have my buddy here with me.
Yep, it's definitely more fun. And you're gonna have to send me a picture of these Leos so I can like put them in and be like, here, motivation.
See,
Yeah.
You
the
need to do
leotards
this.
are so pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are so pretty. All right, Ian, do you have anything else to ask?
Oh goodness, no. This is, I think you can tell like the fun that we had of this episode. It's really what Erin is trying to go for the
Yeah.
adult league, right? With our youth athletes, where it's a little more serious. Like, of course, I don't know if you're on my team, we have tons of fun,
Sure.
but it is a little bit more serious. You have specific goals of certain levels or college gymnastics or
Right.
whatever that is, right? But I think it seems like part of this adult league is just more of let's have some fun and still do gymnastics at the same time. And it doesn't always have to be serious. It doesn't have to be what traditional gymnastics looked like when you were growing up going through gymnastics. It simply is just something like, hey, you want to still stay involved in the sport and be around people who are excited about it too, but are okay at laughing at themselves and falling sometimes and whatever, then yeah, this seems like a good place to be.
It's like
Yeah.
a sense of community, which I mean, NGA as a whole is what we're trying to do is
Yeah.
build that community, that culture. So I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and I think the culture has changed so much less. And I think that for
Yeah.
a lot of us, getting able to do gymnastics as adults kind of like heals some of those things that we maybe
Right.
went through. And coaching has done that too for a lot of us, but this is different. This is getting to enjoy it in a way that maybe we didn't fully know that we could enjoy
Yeah,
before.
because there was just so much pressure before,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There just was, yeah.
Yeah.
No
I could
matter what
imagine.
age level you were, it doesn't matter. It was all pressure.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
could imagine going to a meet now and just being like so relaxed.
Yeah.
And
Just
it's going
going
like,
and having fun.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what happens. Like I'm not here to try and do anything. And if I do something, that's awesome. It's
Yeah,
the
and
same thing I took into any other sport that I tried after, like I did running for a while. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna try really hard to run well and run fast and all that. But yeah, if I get 75th place out of, 500 people, it's like, hey, that seems pretty cool.
Yeah, yes. So the competitive aspect can still be there
Mhm.
because it is ingrained in many of us. And you guys were
Yes.
saying as well, same.
Yes.
When I did powerlifting and then I got injured unrelated, and I was very afraid to go back to it because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not going to be good anymore, or I'm
Yeah.
not going to be as good as I was, or whatever. And when I finally got over that and went back to a meet and competed a meet again, I had so much fun. It was
Right.
the best. And I was so scared that I wouldn't have fun and that I would hate it and be embarrassed. And I had a great time. I had a
Yeah.
great time and I did do pretty well. And so like I can feel that for myself and how that felt and want to give that to other people with gymnastics. And I know that it's already happening. So I'm excited that NGA is on board. I'm excited to launch this. I hope that everyone else is excited about it too. And then we just take off.
Yeah, I could see some fun things happening with it. Like, so in Tennessee, at least this is what they used to do for the men's state meet. All the seniors would always like add something into their floor routine that was just super goofy, silly.
Yes.
And the judges knew that it was going to happen. So they would like
Yeah.
just put their pin down for a second or two.
I love that.
While a guy like did the worm across the floor,
Sure, yeah.
whatever it was, right? And so I could see stuff like that in this adult league where it's like, yeah, look,
Yeah.
I can do a cool flip, but also like I'm going to be silly and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to do
Yes,
this
yeah.
thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Any level of that, from the most serious to the most silly and everything in between, is welcome.
Yeah. Well, I guess one question. So are guys doing floor music? Are we going to
Yes.
get like
They
a
don't
lot
have
of
to.
robots? What do we?
No, they don't have
Ooh,
they don't have to, but
that was
there
a good
will be
question.
2 divisions of floor: artistic floor and floor.
Okay.
So, that's up to them. There are
Yeah.
some male gymnasts who are phenomenal at floor. I recently spoke to someone I met on Instagram, Andrew Chupp, and he does amazing floor routines, competes on beam
Yeah.
as well. So there's gonna be, people like that who are just really good at that, and that's what they enjoy and feel passionate about. And then there are gonna be some men who are like, "That's not my thing," and they'll do just the tumbling aspect of floor. Likewise, women can do the same. There'll be some women who grew up not wanting to do the dance portion of floor, but they're great
Right.
tumblers. Great.
Yeah.
They can do traditional floor instead of artistic floor. So
That's right.
both will be offered there.
Yeah. They can get that deer leap in and cross their arms for their dismount
They
pass
can,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
This is gonna be
Yeah,
fun to
so
watch.
being able to have it co-ed, I think, is key, and that's the feedback from most of the adult gymnasts and coaches that I spoke to over the past year, is really not needing it to be a men's and women. It can just be co-ed. So, like, vault is one example where there's not, it's just vault. So floor, we're gonna have floor and artistic floor, but vault is just vault.
Yeah.
One vault chart, and that's it. And
Right.
Mhm.
so I think simplifying it in that way is also helpful to being able to have more opportunities in a more simplistic way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. All right, Erin, thank you so much for joining us. It was so great being able to talk about this. And everyone, if you have questions, please reach out. We can get Erin back on, talk more about the specifics of the adult program if we want to. But I just think that it was so nice to get a clear picture of what this is going to look like and how this can help grow our NGA community and make it just even that much more fun with us as these older people who are wanting to continue to do gymnastics, but maybe not in the aspect of coaching or working through it like Ina and I do. So thank you so much for joining us today. If anyone has questions, please reach out on any of our social media platforms.
I'm
And
RSG Coach Erin on Instagram, and a lot of people reach out to me there, and I'm happy to answer questions there too.
yeah, reach out to Erin. You can reach out to NGA. You can reach out to us. So please let us know what questions you have. And thank you for joining us here at the NGA podcast. Until next time, stay happy, healthy, and high performing.